always love the beginning of the videos because it's awkward. It feels goofy. So we're back chit-chatting with y'all. Courtney said episode 1 the last time we made a video, and I didn't know that it was episode 1. I just thought we were venting, but apparently it was episode 1, which would make this episode 2. But I don't know if we'll call them all episodes because we talk so much. It's loud in there, isn't it? Hey, y'all close the door or turn that down.
Close the door or turn it down some.
Children. So yeah, I don't know if we'll call this episode after episode after episode. I think we'll just do, we'll just talk, right? I love these earrings. Today they're not doing as good a job staying around on their bright side. And I know there isn't a right or a left earring, right? So why yesterday, oh, maybe there is a right and a left ear. So all day I've been wearing my earrings backwards.
Wow.
Who knew that earrings were right and left?
You was this many years old.
When I found out that there's a right, and that only applies to these. That has never, anyway, they're cute.
Got a R on the one and a L on the other.
Well, I'll know now when I put them on and they're like this that I have them on the wrong side. So anyway, that's not what we got on here to talk about.
No, not at all.
So we wanted to discuss, or I wanted to discuss, and then of course I asked Courtney if he would do it with me. I always ask him to do these videos with me because he's so smart. And he always has a different perspective. We think alike, but I like hearing his perspective, for one, because it's a male perspective and because it's different than mine. So the other day we had this conversation about things that make us happy, things that we do for one another that make us happy, and we got on the subject of love languages. And then it just so happened yesterday someone posted, or last night someone posted something on Facebook about serving your man, fixing his plate or something like that, and that young women are like, I'm not fixing no man's plate, whatever that whole subject was. And I thought, well, to each his own, because I think that's absolutely ridiculous, my opinion, of course, because I fix Courtney's plate all the time. Well, I fix all the plates anyway. Your mom said that when she was over here during the quarantine. She said I should be a waitress. But it's sort of a thing that I like doing for him. I like doing it anyway because it helps me portion out for the boys so that they don't eat up all the food. But, you know, even when the children aren't here, I fix Courtney's plate for him. And it's the least that I could do because there's not anything that I ask of him that he would not do for me. So fixing a plate is like so simple. I don't even know why people make a big deal about that, except that Amy, I think Amy Hurst, or maybe it was Amy, said the women who have a problem with that may be in relationships with people who aren't deserving of you to fix them a plate. I don't know. That one is something that would require, like, I guess, someone else explaining that to me. So I wanted to talk about love languages, period, because I know that Courtney's love language is acts of service. We took the assessment like when we still lived in Temple, so maybe 4 years ago. Do you even remember taking it? I sent it to you when you worked at Southwire.
I remember.
And I realized that his love language is acts of service. My love language is words of affirmation, but I think they're always changing, because where I used to think words of affirmation 100%, now I'm leaning a little bit towards acts of service myself. What do you think?
I mean, that's a question for you to answer. You know what you're feeling that you need.
I know, but what do you think you get the most response out of me when you say something nice to me or when you do something nice for me?
Probably say something.
Huh. So maybe it is still words of affirmation. Maybe I don't know myself. Anyway, so it
can be both though. I'm just saying it's probably more so
words of affirmation. And when you take the assessment, the numbers, sometimes you can have like 10 points on words of affirmation and 9 points on acts of service. So mine are probably very closely related. The thing about the love languages, though, I've realized, especially when I'm working with couples at my private practice, is that people are in a hurry to get their answer or to find out what their love language is. And then they're like, yeah, my love language is acts of service. And they're more concerned with whether or not their needs are being met rather than understanding that the purpose of taking the love language assessment is not just so you can find out your own, but so that you can find out your spouse's and speak your partner or your spouse's love language. Because since words of affirmation is my love language, I am real complimentary. Like, when you look nice, I tell you you look nice all the time. I tell the boys when they're doing well. Like, I'm a real big, hey, that's a good job. I'm proud of you. You look good. You're pretty. All of that, because that's my love language, but it doesn't mean it's yours. I could tell you all day long, you're handsome, but it doesn't mean you feel loved. You feel loved when I cook meatloaf and cabbage.
Mashed potatoes.
And mashed potatoes. We're back. My phone ran out of storage. I need a new phone. I wish gifts was my love language, and then you could buy me a phone and it'd make me happy and I would feel loved. That's not my love language. So anyway, to continue, I know you were talking, so I don't want to, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was talking about the love languages. When you take the assessment, and I don't know anything about it, really, just from you sending it to me and me doing it. But I think when you take an assessment and you're filling out answers, you're kind of filling out answers to learn more about yourself, but you're going to give answers that apply to who you are. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why your love language is words of affirmation, but you also give words of affirmation. You get what I'm saying?
Sort of. I mean,
the assessment is trying to tell about you.
Yes.
So it's not only telling what you like, but you are filling out the assessment.
Yes.
So you're going to answer the questions based on who you are.
Right.
So that's why you give words of affirmation.
Yes.
See, mine is acts of service, right? That's what I like. But you can ask me to do anything and I'm doing it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I think it's a self-assessment. So it's self-assessing what it is or how I perceive myself. And I do like to do things. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I like to have things done for me.
So in saying that, then I'm glad you said that, because does that mean it's difficult for you? Not difficult, but you have to be intentional in speaking my love language, because you would do anything for me. I believe that. Like anything I've ever asked you, I could say, hey, go up in the backyard and, dig a hole. I'd like to have a pond. And you would make a pond back. I mean, you know what I mean? So does that mean you have to be intentional in speaking my love language, which is words of affirmation?
Yeah. That's like any other language, though.
Yeah.
I speak
like
English.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to Spain, I have to be intentional to learn the language.
Okay. So that is also what happens, I think, with my couples when I work with them, because if we're being honest, we're all a little bit selfish, right? We want our needs met. We want to be happy, and we think somebody else is responsible for our happiness, all of that. So when we think about our love language, all we think about is, you need to speak my love language. But in reality, if everyone is being intentional in speaking their partner's love language, then everybody's needs get met. If I go over the top or make sure that I'm speaking Portuguese because that's your language, and you go over the top to learn French because it's my language, we're going to work really hard in communicating, because that's it. Love language is communication. Like when we do these things, we're communicating love. So I always feel loved because you say things like, when I clean the house, you'll come home and say, you'll send me a text message and say, I love the house like this, or I like what you did with the, it's something really small, or, I like your hair like that, or when you call me lovely. Those are things that make me feel extremely loved, in addition to the other things you do. But I've noticed little things that I do, like Courtney can't stand for the bed not to be made. And I don't care if the bed is made. I really don't. Like if I get up and I'm late, which I always am, I just go. But I have been intentional, have you noticed, in making the bed every day because you made such a big deal of it, you know.
Did I make a big deal of it?
Yes. You made a big deal. You made a big deal of it when I did it. Like, oh, the bed is made. But remember that one night when we had a slight disagreement because something happened with the bed and you were like you make it anyway.
Oh.
You remember that?
I do not remember that.
The sheets were messed up and I said, oh, you made the bed and the sheets were messed up underneath and I said, you made the bed like Christian. And he was like you make the bed anyway. And I said, oh, okay. I'm going to show him and I'll make this bed every daggone day if I have to. But it wasn't supposed to be about that. It's really supposed to be about your love.
Something else. Let's get back on topic. When I make the bed, I don't mess up the sheets. Anyway.
The sheets were wrinkled underneath. Remember that comforter? And I said, why did you not pull the sheets tight underneath? So the comforter on top was...
Love languages.
Let's talk about conflict and conflict resolution. No, I'm just kidding. So yes, so I've been intentional on making the bed because I know that act of service means something to you. So I guess the moral of this video, of this story, is if everyone is intentional about speaking their partner's love language, then everybody's needs get met, right?
Right.
Okay.
And I think that's the key word. Walk away with intention. Be intent on what you're doing. Show intention what you're doing as far as stepping outside of your language, learn a new language. Bilingual.
Listen, it's funny. Okay, this will get too long, but it's funny that you said that because a while back, maybe a month or two, I posted on Facebook, what do you think the key ingredient to love is? I have my own opinion about it, and I'll be discussing that at some point later on. I know what the key ingredient is because my mom and my daddy told me what it was, and they are right about everything. But a lot of people put effort on there, which is the same thing as being intentional. There were several people who said effort. That's the key ingredient. And I think when people show effort, even the couples that show up to me in couples counseling that say, you know, we're at the brink of divorce, when they come back the next time and their partner has shown effort, two people showing effort to try to make sure they're resolving conflict and that they're meeting each other's needs, that means a whole lot, right? So,
I guess both of them signing up to show up to counseling, that's some effort right there.
It is. It is. Even though sometimes one shows up kicking and screaming, but they show up. They show up. Anyway, so I'm about to show you love because I just made brownies with Oreos in the center of them and peanut butter cookies with Oreos in the center because you like them and the kids like them. And that's me speaking their love language. I think Christian's love language is acts of service. You think? He likes when you do things for him.
I think all kids' love language is acts of service.
Isaiah's is quality time. He wants me to do stuff with him all the time. Sit with him, watch a movie with him, play the game with him, go play basketball. As long as we're doing something together.
Yeah, I think both of those are for kids.
That's for next time, episode 3.
We're not doing episodes no more, right?
Okay. Next time we get together.
Episode
We should
3.
call them It Is Time because everything to me right now in this season means it is time. It is time to move forward in your destiny. It is time to move forward in your purpose. It was time for me to go full-time private practice. It was time for you to move into where you were supposed to be in your career. It is time. So maybe we should call the videos It Is Time. It's time, y'all. It's time.
Check the clock.
Bye.